I want to make it very simple, just like when we try to talk to our local governments. As you know, Indonesia is really huge in population and also huge in the local governments. We have 33 provinces, and under this province, there are about 597 regency or cities, governments, and also inside that there is 6,700 districts, where all of this level of governments are related to what we call e-government in the early years. So cloud computing, cloud infrastructures towards this local government is just like having a satay, a beef skewer where you can enjoy with your peanut sauce, right? So we tell the local government, rather than for you to slaughter a goat or a cow, you take satay. As an analogy of cloud computing. So this makes simple understanding for them. Because if we try to explain to all of the local governments about the benefit of clouds and how they should adopt the cloud, just like Dr. Lee earlier mentioned, Indonesia in the ranks of cloud readiness index is not too bad, but still we need to go forward with this cloud. So I would like to start my talk with some background on where is the cloud actually now. The cloud has become a reality to all of us. We have tried to catch up this satellite technology with a lot of promotion, a lot of socialization. Local government used to try to invest in data centers, try to build up their e-government capabilities through investment in networks, in data center and other things. But now, cloud adoption in Asia is one of the fastest growing regions, I think. Because like Singapore, which leading the pack toward the ASEAN countries, there are many companies now, service providers operating in the Asia, which is really a growing market for all of us. SME are moving to cloud faster than any other market now, the small medium enterprise, because we are going to move the capital expenditures towards the operational expenditures, and we can certainly deliver robust, cost-effective solution to many of the cloud users. So toward the next 5 years, I would say, cloud will be the mainstream. It will become the accepted norm. In fact, the ASEAN ICT Committee is working toward a unified ASEAN cloud, which is going to be really an interesting for all of the ASEAN, the Association Southeast Asian Nation, to work on moving a traditional service-oriented architecture toward the cloud architectures. So, is government using cloud? I think we saw earlier that most of the countries in ASEAN is working toward with the cloud somehow. For example, Singapore government, we have listened to Dr. Lee earlier. Malaysia e-government is also working on cloud through the Multimedia Development Corporation and MDAC. Thai government is also doing that. Vietnam, and of course, the other Asia Pacific countries like Australia, New Zealand, which is China, is there. So, and certainly Indonesia is coming quite strong in trying to adopt the cloud technology in most of the government system. So the use case for governments is actually a whole spectrum of application and public services. Yeah. This is a platform that most of the government institutions are thinking, or at least working, have a preliminary concept of using the cloud. For example, for weather forecasting, satellite imagery, earthquake prediction, census and election management, public interface, and most important, the interagency communication. A lot of government sector are working on silo at this point. Yeah. And adopting cloud makes this silo disappear. And I would like to really put this perspective into what we put in our roadmap for the Indonesia becoming the Indonesia Information Society in 2015. This is tightly connected to the target of the WSIS, the World Summit on Information Society, which basically stated that at least 50% of the population must be connected to the information. Yeah. So because of the lacking of infrastructures in Indonesia, we have a lot of catching up, yeah, toward achieving this goal, achieving this target. And basically we are very close to that, and I will show you one of the example or one of the showcase that we are very proud of for the city of Pekalongan, where they are basically achieving 100% of the target to connect the whole people to information. Indonesia is consolidating, accelerating through the National ICT Committee, and basically in terms of the penetration, we are 250 million people, and basically it's 1-to-1 in terms of mobile user, the cellular user, even though probably around 30 million of them are basically on internet, mobile internet, but we are catching up for that. Another thing that we are thinking of actually adopting this cloud computing is basically we try to meet up the service-oriented architecture, which is basically the system that we created for many years prior to cloud computing, yeah, where we have a shared service, shared information, and shared process. And this is basically a leverage for us to move faster into adopting the cloud in all the government information system, where the service is on demand, database is on demand, application is on demand, and platform is on demand. So when we think of government service cloud, it is a natural move from a traditional government service to the government service cloud, yeah, where each ministry and agencies are doing exactly a similar government process. Yeah, you can find that in most of the ministry. For example, budgeting. For example, evaluation of KPI is being done throughout all the government. HR is is a basic need. Finance, admin. So basically, cloud service for the government of Indonesia as an integration of the whole public services that we are doing. And this is basically very good for all of us, because I has explained earlier, a lot of ministries and agencies, the local governments, are lacking of the integration. Yeah. And I think government service cloud is a way for all of us in the ministry to basically move from traditional government service, a service-oriented architectures, a silo architectures, toward an integration of government service. And cloud adoption in Indonesian government service can be seen or can be showcased for several ministries. And I would like to share with all of you some of them at this time. I will start with a little bit on Ministry of Defense, very important, because so far Ministry of Defense are very, very, I will say, hard for them to adopt a new technology, and especially putting emphasis on how cloud can provide a security platform for all of them to work on the information system. I will also share with you the latest achievement for Indonesia. Is a unique identification to our electronic ID for 190 million people, which is done by the Ministry of Home Affairs. Ministry of Finance is doing that also, rolling out a cloud infrastructures for e-budgeting purpose, which is really good for Indonesia. And certainly our coming national election in 2014, through the election committee is also adopting cloud for this, and I will like to share with you. And also the regional government one-stop public service, just like SingPass in Singapore and other citizen web service. So for the defense, Ministry of Defense, I will say very importantly that these structures of having information from our Army, Air Force, Navy, through several information systems to the Office of the President is a line of command that are basically forcing us to do a really a deep understanding of how the cloud can integrate all the information system. Connectivity between these two national defense infrastructures from Ministry of Defense and the military. Actually, there are so many information systems in there. Yeah, I'm sorry, it's in Indonesia. This is for your eyes only. So these two systems basically have to actually integrate in doing national cyber defense and to actually integrate these two systems into a C4ISR for intelligence, surveillance, and reconnaissance. So what we have done is basically come up with a roadmap for national defense information system, where I just would like to highlight for you in the third stage, the private cloud for the national defense information infrastructure is now being developed. This is one of the way, a major step, I think. It ensures you the trustworthiness of the cloud. Yeah, the private cloud works well, even for the military or for the national defense. And this is a really a good example on for other ministries, yeah, that are doing or are progressing toward adopting the cloud for their each ministries. Yeah. So the next thing that I would like to share with you, yeah, is our electronic ID. Yeah. The electronic ID basically, can I show this? No. Okay. Okay. Here is our electronic ID, where we basically enroll each people, each citizen into a database, and this biometric system is actually a verification purpose to actually coming into a cloud platform. This will enable basically our single identity population database from the Ministry of Home Affairs, currently at 192 million, to basically share this data. I think Dr. Lee earlier mentioned about how you can actually do data aggregation toward the multi-functionality of the population database. And that includes the health, social, labor, certainly election. Yeah, our next election hopefully will be a breakthrough for Indonesia. For many years, we have come to an election without any biometric verification, and we are going to do biometric verification for our next national election in 2014, where we elect a new parliamentary, and also we will elect our new president. And this is basically a major breakthrough for all of us in Indonesia. What we will do is this electronic identity program will basically be a verification, a test bed for all other services that the government will certainly provide to the public. I'm running out of time, so last time national election 2009 doesn't come easy. 1 month in the result. So in 2014 there will be a cloud platform for the election committee, where all the stakeholders of the election, including the election committee, the supervisory committee here, and public access for the cloud platform, will enable an achievement, yeah, for 40% of votes to be counted within 3 days. That means around 100 million votes are in 3 or 4 days, and then 90% of the votes are in the 7 days. In 2009, these votes coming in after only 1 month. So we only rely on quick count. So this time we expect to have a breakthrough using the cloud platform by having a real count and also a faster counting. I think that's the time that I have. I'm sorry I didn't finish everything, but hopefully you can download my presentation, and anything, please contact me for any particular information. Thank you very much.